We are back with a brand new video. What is good, you guys? In today's video, as you guys can see, we are doing our first ever 2023 NBA mock draft. You guys seem to love the draft content since like the 2022 draft when I was making draft videos. Like that's what really, got a lot of views on my channel. So yeah, make sure you guys, drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I promise you more of this draft content will be coming up very, very soon. And yeah, let me know down in the comments section below what you think your favorite team should do. What do you think about my picks? And yeah, man, I'm super excited. College basketball season is kind of in full flow right now. It's been like over a month since it started and a lot of teams looking good. So I'm very excited for the remainder of college basketball and of course March Madness when that comes in a couple of months. But right now we're going to be talking about our a mock draft. This is only going to be the lottery, the top 14 picks. I didn't want to make the video too long, so that's why I'm not going to do like the full first round right now. But if you guys want to see me do like a full first round mock draft or even like a 2-round mock draft or even like a big board, like let me know down in the comment section below. I'm open to whatever you guys are, open to me doing. So, and yeah, last but not least, I do want to preface by saying that this is as if I was the GM of all these teams. This is not what I'm predicting to happen if, the Orlando Magic are on the clock, what I'm predicting Jeff Weltman to do. Nah, this is what I would do if I was a GM. So as y'all can see from this screenshot, this is Tankathon, obviously the best draft lottery simulator out there. And nothing too crazy happened. Orlando moved up a couple of spots. Houston moved up a couple of spots. Charlotte moved down 3 spots. But apart from that, like everything is pretty much, set in stone. So yeah, as y'all can see, we got the Orlando Magic on the clock. And without further ado, we're going to get right into it. And I'm going to have the Orlando Magic taking Victor Wembanyama. I think this is a very, very obvious pick. Self-explanatory, to be honest. Best player available. And yeah, man, he's just a generational talent, barring any, catastrophic injury. I just think that he's going to be an absolute superstar in this league. He's a 7'5" demigod. That's what he is. Yeah, the Orlando Magic, that front court of the future with Franz and Paolo and Vic. I know you got Wendell and Bobo, but y'all can figure that out later, bro. Victor Wembanyama is too good of a talent to pass up on. Now, on my number 2 overall pick, we got the Detroit Pistons, and a lot of people are going to be like, Scoot Henderson is the obvious pick, and that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Scoot Henderson, but a lot of people are going to be like, yo, what are they going to do with all their guards if Scoot Henderson's on their team? What's going to happen to Ivy? What's going to happen to Killian, Cade? Like, you can figure that out later. The thing about having a top 2 pick or like a top pick in this draft is you have to go with the best player available. You cannot worry about fit, especially if you're like a rebuilding team and you don't really have too many building blocks. Like the Pistons only truly have one building block or cornerstone that has, shown anything, which is Cade. Ivy has looked all right. He's looked pretty decent in his rookie year, but it's too early to tell whether he's going to be like the truth or not. Killian has been a disappointment. I know he's had a bit of a resurgence this season, but he hasn't really been like, 7th overall pick worthy. And you just have to go with the best player available, and that is Scoot Henderson here. Like, you can figure out what to do with these other guards in the future. Maybe even run a 3-guard lineup. Cade is big enough to do that. But yeah, Scoot is just too good of a talent to pass up on. Like, there is a clear gap between the top 2 picks and everybody else in this class. And Victor Wembanyama is obviously, far and ahead number 1, but I think Scoot is, I don't think Scoot is like that far away. Like he's not like extremely close to me, but like, he is in that realm, but he's definitely clears everybody else in this class for sure, apart from Victor. So he's going to go number 2 for me. Number 3, we got the Houston Rockets. And, again, very interesting position here. I'm going to go with the number 3 player on my board, which is Nick Smith Jr. I'm a huge fan of his game. I think with Houston, like, he's just going to fit extremely well. A lot of people are going to be like, yo, where's Amen Thompson? He's the consensus 3 spot for everybody. Well, not everybody, but most people have Amen Thompson at number 3. I don't have him at number 3. I have him a little bit lower. I just like Nick Smith more. I just think that he can play better on and off the ball a lot more. And I think that, Amen Thompson, the thing about him that I don't really like his fit in Houston is because, when Jalen Green has the ball, like, I don't really know, like, what Amen Thompson is doing to make himself valuable on the offensive end, apart from, like, cutting to the rim. Like, he's not really a good off-ball player. He's not really a good shooter. Like he hasn't really, you know, those are like his like biggest weaknesses right now. I'm gonna end up going with Nick Smith Jr. here. I just think that he's a lot better playing off the ball and on the ball. He's a combo guard, but I'm very impressed with his game this season, man. I think, and he's shown that he can play alongside guards like Anthony Black, Ricky Council. Like that Arkansas team is stacked as far as guards go, and he's able to get in and fit in wherever he wants to just because he's so talented. He can play on and off the ball so well. He's very fast. He's not the most athletic, but he just gets to his spots. He's just so good at just creating his own shot and playing off the ball. So and his playmaking is also improved. The Houston Rockets do need a point guard, in my opinion. I think KPJ is more of a sixth man. So yeah, I'm gonna end up going with Nick Smith Jr. here. We move on to number 4, and we got the Charlotte Hornets. Here I'm gonna go with my number 4 guy on my board, which is Brandon Miller. I think Brandon Miller is an extremely good player. Very versatile 4/3. He's more of a 3 to me, actually, not a 4. But he is just a very long athletic specimen, man. He reminds me of Paul George a lot. He can shoot the ball. He can finish at the rim. He's a 3-level scorer. And he's been hooping at Bama this season, so I'm a huge fan of his game, man. I just think that he just gets to his spots. Very fluid offensive player. Like, I just think that, and the defensive potential is there. Like, he might not have like shown it completely like yet, but I still think it's there. And with Charlotte, like any position apart from the point guard position, like you can like draft whoever. Just because like apart from LaMelo, nobody's really like safe on your team as far as like a, you know, a future piece. And you know, he would probably be replacing, I don't know, Gordon Hayward or Oubre. I think Oubre comes off the bench anyway, but like he would probably be replacing Gordon Hayward in that lineup. Gordon Hayward's like a pretty injury-prone player right now. Like his contract is terrible, so like that's a good seamless fit in my opinion. You can play next to LaMelo. LaMelo will set him up for so many easy looks. He's also an underrated playmaker too. I really like his playmaking. I think, especially like out of like the mid-post area, like he's a pretty good playmaker with those, you know, especially when people are cutting to the rim. So I'm gonna have Brandon Miller going at number 4 to the Hornets. We move on to the San Antonio Spurs. I'm gonna have him going with Cam Whitmore out of Villanova. I think Cam Whitmore is a very, very solid player. The thing that separates Brandon Miller and Cam Whitmore for me though is that I think Brandon Miller is like a little bit more polished as far as getting his own. Cam Whitmore, I just see him more of like a, I don't want to say a strictly 3-and-D because I think that's a little bit disrespectful, but like, I just don't know if he has as much in his bag as maybe a Brandon Miller does. Maybe I'm tripping though, because we haven't really seen Cam Whitmore play too much this season. We've only seen him play a couple of games. He's looked pretty good though, I'm not gonna lie. He dropped like a 20 piece in one of those games. I know he had the finger injury, but I think if you're the Spurs, like you'd be really happy with Cam Whitmore here. Like I know a lot of people would probably take MN here. But again, I'm still going with my best player available, and to me, that is Cam Whitmore, just because he's a very good shooter, off-ball player, but he can also play on the ball. Extremely good defender, and I think that, you know, the wing, you know, trio of him, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, like you got something nice there for the future. Play Sohan at like a small ball 5 if you want to. Move on from Pirtle, sell high when he's playing well, and when he's on the last year of his contract. And all you have left is to figure out the point guard position for the future. So, and I mean, who knows? Trey Jones has been hooping this season, so you might not have to like do anything crazy there. But the Spurs, like, you can never go wrong with another wing. Like, you know, they've shown that they really like drafting their wing players, and Cam Whitmore is one of those guys. So I'm gonna go with Cam Whitmore here at number 5 to the San Antonio Spurs. As we move on to the Oklahoma City Thunder, I'm gonna have him taking Amen Thompson. Not the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm tripping. It's the Washington Wizards. I'm gonna have him taking Amen Thompson. The Wizards at 6. I think that the Wizards are in a very, very. They're in one of the worst positions like of any team in the league right now, just because like they're on paper, their roster is not like a young team. Like their top 3 guys are not young by any means. Like Porzingis is like 27 or something. Kuzma is like up there in age. Bradley Beal is obviously in his 30s. But they do have a couple of young pieces here and there, like a Rui Hachimura, a Denny Avdia, Daniel Gafford, Corey Kispert, and Johnny Davis. Those 5 are like their young core right now, but none of them has really stepped up and shown that they can be like a true, you know, number 1 or even a number 2 option on a team for the future. Like, the problem with the Wizards is that they're always good enough to, you know, be like very close to the play-in, but they're never bad enough to be like a high lottery or top 10 or top 5 pick. Like they're always drafting in like the 10 to 14 area, like always. I don't remember the last time I've seen the Wizards draft like in the top 5. I think the last time might have been when they took Otto Porter at 3. But yeah, like since then, like they've always been like a very middle of the pack mediocre team. And I think that, you know, them getting like the 6th pick is a very big blessing in disguise for them, just because like in my mock draft, I haven't taken Amen Thompson. He is probably like one of the most highest upside players in this class anyway. Like you take a swing there, like, and you are able to get like a guy that a lot of people have him like at their number 3 spot as far as their big boards are concerned. I think he would fit great on the Wizards. Nobody's really taking the ball away from him except for like Beal. But I think Beal and the Wizards, like, I just don't see like that lasting too long. I know they just extended him, but like he clearly doesn't fit their timeline. And if I'm the Wizards, I'm trying to move on from Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal does have a no trade clause, so like that's going to be interesting, but the Wizards are just like, I don't know what they were thinking giving him all that money and a no trade clause, especially when he said that no other team was bidding for him. He literally said that on Gilbert Arenas' podcast. But I digress. I'm taking Amen Thompson here. He's the best player available, most high upside player available. Like if you're the Wizards, you just gotta take a swing here, and he is that guy. So I'm going with Amen Thompson. As we move on to number 7, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder. And here I'm going to have them taking one of my favorite players in the class, Jarris Walker. I'm a huge fan of Jarris Walker's game, man. I just think that he's a do-it-all for. He reminds me, not like he's not like for like with this player, but he's very similar in some aspects. He gives me Scotty Barnes vibes at times, you know. I don't know. When I was watching Scotty Barnes at FSU, I got the same / like similar kind of vibes that I'm getting from Jarris Walker. Like, he's an extremely versatile player. He can obviously guard multiple positions. That's his biggest strength. But he can also like, I think his shooting is definitely improved and his playmaking is also improved, especially out the post. He doesn't have the ball handling that Scotty does right now, but I think, you know, he's just a very versatile forward. And I think in OKC, a front court of him and Chet for the future would be really nasty defensively, especially because they don't really have like, you know, I think OKC has, apart from Chet, they've always like taken a lot of guards recently in these last couple of years. And I think you got to go with like a front court player right now, and that would be Jarris Walker. He's the best front court player available to me. So I'm gonna go with him at 7, and we move on to Orlando at 8 from the Chicago Bulls pick. I'm taking Ausar Thompson, who's actually the twin of Amen Thompson, and I mean, if you're Orlando, you have to be super happy right now because like you essentially win the draft. You get Victor Wembanyama and you get Ausar Thompson. Like both players are extremely good. Like Ausar Thompson is a wing player who's extremely, you know, big, athletic, can cut, but he's also a very improved shooter. Like I think Ausar Thompson's shooting has come along a lot further than his brothers, especially like this season when you look at percentages and stuff. He's shooting the ball a lot better than a lot of people expected, so that's a very encouraging thing to see. He's obviously not like the ball handling presence or like the playmaking presence that his brother is, but if he can continue like improving his shot, he could be like a very good 3-and-D player. But he's also an extremely athletic force, like going to the rim as well. So I think Orlando would get a really good one there at number 8. He's the best player available on my board. So Ausar Thompson is that guy for me. We move on to number 9 with I think the New Orleans Pelicans are here, yeah, from the Lakers pick. Keontae George is who I'm going to have him taking. I think Keontae George is probably like the most fluid / best like pure scorer in this class. He's just a bucket, bro. Like he's just a guy who can just, you know, you could just give him the ball and he'll make something happen. Like he's just one of those type of players. Now a lot of people like are scared of drafting guys like this, like extremely high, just because like, you know, you don't know whether he's going to be a Bradley Beal or whether he's going to be a Jordan Clarkson. And there's nothing wrong with the Jordan Clarkson, but taking a Jordan Clarkson with the top 10 pick is probably something most GMs would not do. I think he's more of a Bradley Beal. I think he has that type of potential in him just because, like, you know, he's a very good scorer, obviously, but I think, you know, his playmaking has definitely improved a lot. Like, I think the thing with Keontae George is that, and I think that separates him from a lot of guys who are like in this mode who are straight bucket getters, is that he can also play off the ball. Like he's a very good off the ball player, and you know, he can catch and shoot if you need him to. He can spot up, but he can also play make. His playmaking has definitely impressed me. Like that's been probably like the biggest surprise this season from him is his playmaking. Like I didn't see that coming. And we all know he can score the ball. So New Orleans, like that would just be a really good fit just because like they're a playoff team. You know, you're gonna need scoring like in the playoffs, especially like crunch time situations. You can have him in your closing lineup. He's not the best defender, but I think that can definitely improve. So I'm gonna have him going with Keontae George at number 9. As we move on to number 10, we got the Toronto Raptors. I'm gonna have him taking Dariq Whitehead from Duke. A player who's kind of fallen on my board since the season started. Now, it's not because of his play, obviously. Like, I've actually kind of defended Dariq Whitehead a lot on this channel in the past couple of videos, just because I've seen people have him like in the 20s. Like, I'm like, bro, that's way too low. Dariq Whitehead is like he's obviously a very good player, which is why he was like a consensus top 5 player before this season started. But I think it's because like a lot of these other guys, you know, have played so well this season, like, and Dariq Whitehead has not really shown me much. And I know it's because of the injury. Like, I can't really, like, this is not like a knock on Dariq Whitehead. This is just because like a lot of these other guys are like, they're showing me so much. It's like, from what I've seen so far, like, there's so many guys who are making a case to be like top 5, top 7 players, just because so many guys have started off the season so well. So based off of what I've seen right now, like, obviously Dariq Whitehead, once he picks it up, which I think he will, he'll probably be a little bit higher than this, you know, when the actual draft comes along. But as of right now, like, you know, from what everyone else has shown me this season, and I know Dariq Whitehead has had the injury, like, I don't expect Dariq Whitehead to like be like extremely good like ASAP, just because like he's coming off an injury that basically limited his movement for like 6 months. So like, I don't expect him to look that great. He's shown some flashes already, but defensively you can see like he's just still very, very slow-footed right now. Like, he just he's not at like the right, pace and body shape. Like, he just has to get back into game shape. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what he has to worry about right now. But the only reason he's so low is because a lot of these other guys have started off the season hooping. So that's why they're like a little bit higher for me. But if you're Toronto at 10, you get one of the best like 3-and-D players. Like, I know Dariq Whitehead's defense has not been that great this season, but he is still one of the best 3-and-D prospects when he's healthy. So, and Toronto gets another one of those guys, man. They need shooting. They definitely need, shooting, because a lot of their shooters are inconsistent. And when you have guys like Pascal Siakam, Scotty Barnes, guys like this who rely on spacing to operate because, of the gravity that they have, Dariq Whitehead is one of the guys who can fit on their team. So I'm going to have Dariq Whitehead going to the Toronto Raptors at number 10. Number 11, Utah Jazz here. I don't want to go with the big right now. I know like Utah needs a center, but like I just don't like see any like point of taking a center this high. So I'm just I'm having going with my best player available. I'm gonna have him going with G.G. Jackson. I think G.G. Jackson is a very, he's a very good Swiss Army knife wing. I think that he is an extremely versatile player, man. He can do a lot of different things. G.G. Jackson is probably my favorite player in the draft. I'm not gonna lie. He is very, very good. And I think that G.G. Jackson is one of those guys who's like, the thing about him is that, he's so young. So that's why having him going to the Jazz is like a good thing for him, just because like the Jazz are not like looking to compete. I know they started off the season hot, but like kind of we all knew like they were going to come back to the reality. So he's so young that he can just fit with that team. Like they can develop him pretty well. Like I'm a huge fan of his game, and I think that he can be something special, especially just because he's only like, is he 17 right now? I'm pretty sure he's only 17. I know for a fact he's the youngest player in the draft, but I don't know if he's 17 or 18. I'm gonna have to look that up. But yeah, G.G. Jackson is an extremely good player. He's very versatile. He's only 17. Yeah, he was born in 2004, December 17th. So in 2 days, he turns 18. But yeah, man, I think Utah will strike gold if they get G.G. Jackson at 11. So that's who I'm going to go with. At 12, we got the Hawks here. I'm going to have him taking... Who did I have the Hawks taking on my board? I actually had him taking Anthony Black. Yeah, I had the Hawks taking Anthony Black. Anthony Black is a very good player, man. I'm a huge fan of Anthony Black's game. Big, extremely big. Reminds me a lot of like, I don't know. You've seen like the Josh Giddey, Combs, Sean Livingston. Like he's a big facilitator. You know what I'm saying? Like, now where is the fit? Coming from? Like you have Trey, DeJounte. Do you need another guard? At this point, bro, like he's the best player available. Like all the best players available right now are kind of like guards / wings. And on my board, like he's the best player available. Like you might as well just take a swing with him. You don't really have like, and he can come off the bench and run the second unit if you want him to. Like you don't have to start him like just because he was the 12th pick. Like Benedict Mathurin was the 6th pick, and the Pacers are thriving with him off the bench. So yeah, Anthony Black, I think, would be a very good option for Atlanta just because he defends. He does a little bit of everything. He's a very good rebounder for his position, and he can also facilitate as well. So he does a lot of the little things that a lot of winning teams would love, which is why I have him at number 12. As you move on to number 13, we got the Golden State Warriors over here. And with the Golden State Warriors, I'm like torn between two players just because like I really like one. Like one is like one of my extreme favorites in this class, but the other one, you know, he might be like a better overall player, but I think the first one is a better fit. And I know I said you should probably prioritize talent, but just for this team, for the Warriors, just because their bench is so like god awful as far as scoring the ball is concerned, I'm going to go with Jet Howard. And that might be a little high, but Jet Howard is an extremely versatile scorer, man. He can score from 3 levels. The Warriors, their starting lineup is one of the best in the NBA, but their bench is the reason why they're losing a lot of games. They cannot really generate anything coming off their bench. And Jet Howard can be like one of the best, scorers off the bench in this league with time and with development. And I think the Warriors, with that development program over there, like they can make Jet Howard something special. So I just think that, it was between him and another player, and that other player will probably like be my 14th pick. And I'll explain why I didn't have him going to the Golden State Warriors. But Jet Howard, I'm a huge fan of his game, man. I love Jet Howard's game, and I think that Jet Howard is going to be, apart from his defense, he basically does everything that you would want of a player. So he's going to be my number 13 to the Warriors. And at number 14, finally, we got the New York Knicks. And this is the player that I was debating on going number 13, but I'm going to go with Cason Wallace to the New York Knicks. He's a very, very, very good defender. Like he's probably the best perimeter defender in this draft. He reminds me a lot of like Marcus Smart, a lot of these like gritty point guards. He's even like similar, like maybe like even like a Davion Mitchell. Like I don't know. I think New York would love his defense. Thibodeau loves defensive guys. The reason I didn't want to go Jet Howard at 14 is because I don't see how he would get on the floor in New York because he's not a good defender, and Thibodeau loves defenders. So like that's why I thought the fit would be a lot better if he went 13 and Cason Wallace went 14. But you could obviously interchange like these last 3 picks. You could even have Cason Wallace going to 12, going to Atlanta at 12. So that's going to be the draft though. Cason Wallace at 14 is going to wrap it up. That's going to be the mock draft lottery for the 2023 NBA draft. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the video, man. Let me know down in the comment section below, what you think your team should do, what you thought about my picks, future videos you want me to do. I'm down for whatever. So if you guys leave that in the comment section below, I will be considering them. So we're going to wrap it up here, man. I'll see y'all later as always. Have a nice day. Peace.